You're watching CNN and this is Connect the World with me, Lynda Kinked. Welcome back. Well, US President Donald Trump is taking on his critics on a number of fronts, defending his policies on everything from North Korea to Iran to the Puerto Rico disaster relief effort. But some of the biggest fireworks are coming from a bitter feud with a former ally, Republican Senator Bob Corker. Mr. Trump says he, quote, gave us the Iran deal and that's about it. He blames the Senate Foreign Relations Committee chairman for pushing a measure back in 2015 that requires congressional oversight of the Iran nuclear deal, a measure some say made it more palatable to reluctant lawmakers. Mr. Trump is expected to decertify the agreement as early as this week. Our White House reporter, Stephen Collinson, says Donald Trump is going rogue, even by his own standards. In an article for CNN, Collinson calls the president's weekend tweet storm, quote, another mind-scrambling chapter of a reality show presidency that is threatening to exhaust the nation. Collinson also wrote, no one, not his estranged Secretary of State Rex Tillerson, his Chief of Staff John Kelly, European leaders, North Korean dictators, Democrats or despairing Republican senators can temper his shock and awe leadership style. Well, let's get the latest from the man himself. Stephen Collinson joins us now. Stephen, a great article on CNN.com. We expect Donald Trump to say things and tweet things without thinking them through, but this weekend was especially busy. Is there any method to this madness?
I think what the president is signaling is that there are people around him who are trying to constrain him, whether they be Chief of Staff John Kelly, his Secretary of State Rex Tillerson, people on Capitol Hill, even European leaders who've been pressing him to stay in the Iran deal. I think what he's showing is that he's going to run his presidency exactly as he likes. He's always been like this as a chief executive, as a real estate mogul, as a reality star. He's spontaneous, he's impulsive, and I think he's trying to signal that no one is going to constrain him, that he's the president and he's going to use his power as he sees fit. Now, that is something that's causing a lot of alarm in Washington and around the world.
And of course, he is seemingly having another dig at his Secretary of State, Rex Tillerson, saying he should be acting tougher. He's also had that tweet feud with Senator Bob Corker, and I understand that Corker and Tillerson are quite good friends. You have to wonder what they're saying behind closed doors when they're willing to say so much in public.
Well, what they're saying behind closed doors is, in many cases, what Senator Bob Corker said. This is an extraordinary intervention by the Tennessee senator. He basically said that the safety of the United States and the world cannot be guaranteed when there is someone so temperamentally challenged, if you like, as Donald Trump in the Oval Office. This is the most senior Republican, elected Republican, to rebuke the president. I think this has been coming for a long time, and Corker is saying a few things that Republicans privately have said behind the scenes for a number of months. Now, Corker has already announced his retirement. That means he's free to say what he likes. He doesn't risk facing a primary challenge ahead of next year's midterm elections from a pro-Trump candidate, so he has that kind of freedom. He can say things that other Republicans would not say in public. Corker is not the kind of person that shoots his mouth off. He's very conservative, but he's also very considered. He really does think about what he's going to say before he says it, and I think that is one of the things that is giving such weight to this intervention. But at the same time, you have to say, what will it achieve? Will it get the president to rein himself in? Very unlikely. And will Corker now go ahead and try to use the power he has left in 2 years as head of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee until the end of the midterm elections in 2018? Will he try to rein the president in himself, or will other Republicans act? I would suggest that given most other Republicans still have political careers ahead of them, I think that's somewhat doubtful.
So it's fair to say that Trump needs Corker more than Corker needs Trump, especially if he's going to push through reform on tax.
That's right. So Corker is a Republican senator. There's a very narrow majority in the Senate, as we saw during the Obamacare repeal and replace debacle. Trump needs Corker to vote for his tax reform proposals. Corker's already raised doubts about what the tax reform and tax cuts might do to the deficit. And, you know, he also needs him, if he goes ahead to decertify the Iran deal, there's some thinking in Washington that what will happen is that the Congress will not go ahead and impose sanctions on Iran, which would cause Iran to walk out of the deal. Corker's going to be a key player in that. So as head of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, he does have some power. Now, should Trump decide to get rid of Tillerson, Corker would also be in charge of the confirmation hearings for whoever Trump would name to replace Tillerson as Secretary of State. So he does have some leverage and some power should he choose to use it.
We'll have to see how this all plays out. Stephen Collinson, as always, good to speak to you. And of course, for our viewers, you can get more of Stephen's commentary on our website. There you'll find his analysis on Mr. Trump going rogue, as well as other developments making headlines at the White House. That is at CNN.com. Still to come, all eyes are on Theresa May after what has been a very difficult week. The British Prime Minister speaks to Parliament on Brexit in the next few minutes. We will go there live. And did the Las Vegas shooter Stephen Paddock leave behind clues into his twisted mind? CNN has exclusive access to a lawsuit. We'll get those details when we come back.